Hello everyone, this is Visual Novel Gamer here, and I'm back with Katawa Shoujo. Last time, Hisao confessed to, Emi confessed to Hisao and they kiss, and now we're gonna go see them go on a date now. So let's continue. I wake with a start. Shit, what time is it? I glance at the clock, reveals that I've been asleep for nearly an hour. Thank goodness. Emi's practice should be finishing up soon. I throw on some casual clothes and head for the track. Somehow I get the feeling we won't be doing anything fancy for dinner. Emi doesn't strike me as a very fancy sort of person. Still, I suppose there's a lot I have yet to know about Emi. Despite our newfound closeness, I still feel like I don't know her as well as I should. Well, I have a lot of time to fix that. Well, you guys only known each other for, what, a week now or so? I think. In the actual game time. To be honest, I'm looking forward to getting to know her more. And so, caught up in my own thoughts that I hardly register that I'm already at the track. Emi is nowhere to be found. I don't even see any signs of the track team. This could be embarrassing. I turn to head towards the girls' dormitory when I hear a shout. Hey, Hisao! Normal clothes, Emi! I turn around to see Emi making a beeline for me with a gym bag slung over her shoulder. She changed into some decisively more casual clothing, a pair of shorts and an olive green top. Her running blades have been replaced by more realistic looking legs that probably wouldn't fool anyone. Emi doesn't seem to care about that, a fact which makes me smile. Hey, you came! I mean, I figured you would, but still. I suddenly found myself wrapped in a rather affectionate hug, and it proves to be impossible for me to keep what must be the world's largest grin off my face. Well, of course I came. I'll be crazy not to, right? Emi ponders for a moment. You know, that's true. I mean, I'm pretty amazing after all. I shrug in response. I certainly think so. It's an offhand remark, which is why I'm surprised to see that it seems to have caught Emi by surprise. Surprise blush. She blushes and smiles warmly at me before planting a kiss on my lips. Now it's my turn to be surprised. Emi steps back, resting her weight on her heel, looking pleased with herself. My brain fumbles for an appropriate response. Thought. I should compliment you more often. Emi laughs and gives me a playful shove. Jerk. I throw my arm around Emi's shoulder and am pleased when she immediately leans into me as if it was the most natural thing in the world. So, where to? I'm not actually sure. Where do people go on dates around here anyway? That's a damn good question. I've got no idea. Why don't we just head down to the Aura Mart and grab something portable? Emi's face brightens at this idea. A picnic! I think you're onto something, Hisao. Emi snakes her arm around my wrist and we begin to head for the front gate. I'm entirely unsure of what I'm meant to do in this situation, but at least Emi seems to be equally clueless. Despite the relaxing feeling of being with Emi, I still can't help feeling a little tense. What if I do something wrong? I hate to make an ass out of myself. The trip to the Aura Mart is accompanied by Emi's chatter about how practice went. I keep quiet for the most part, really enjoying the warmth of being around Emi. We get a few odd looks from passerbyers, but I don't mind. We wind up buying some bread and instant noodles, realizing too late that we cannot actually cook the later in the park. Oh well, I'll make it for lunch or something. That'll work. The park is located after a brief loss of direction that I blame entirely on Emi. She, of course, blames me. We find a spot beneath a tree and sit down. I lean back against the trunk. Emi sits across from me. Yes, we should have brought a blanket or something to sit on, huh? Emmy shrugs. I don't mind. Neither do I. Then why did you say something? They don't mind. Emmy tosses me a package of bread and we dig in. Curry bread. Interesting. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to what I grabbed in the store. Hey Sal, you look like your bread's a little spicy. I shake my head, trying in vain to keep an image of manliness. Nah, it's hardly spicy at all. I see. That must be why your face has gotten so red. Yeah, exactly. The lack of spice has, got my blood up. Because of the disappointment. Emmy laughs and swallows the last of her bread. Well, if you can't handle it, I'll be glad to take it off your hands. Hey, just because you wolfed down yours so quickly, doesn't mean I'm just going to give you mine. Emmy mock pouts, causing me to nearly choke on my bread with laughter. Aw, come on, Estelle. Aren't you supposed to be concerned with making sure I get enough to eat now? We're dating, you know. Though, Emmy looks troubled all of a sudden. I can't say I feel any different. What's that face? What do you mean? What makes this a date? It's just what we would have done anyway, really. But this should feel different because before, when we had lunch, we were friends. And now we're a level above friends. You sound like Ren. Laughter escapes and Emmy grins. Well, she might have put that thought into my head. We talked about that sort of thing before. Really? About me? Not really, just stuff, really. Ren thinks that the change of a label from friend to girlfriend seems arbitrary most of the time. Like there's no difference between the two. I can think of at least one, you know. You don't tend to kiss your friends quite as often. For a second time today, Emmy blushes slightly and giggles. I suppose you're right. Exactly. I'm always right about these things. Like this. Emmy rolls her eyes and chuckles. Guess you're pretty smart, huh? I nod in agreement. Yep. Even Muto thinks so. He thinks I should go into some scientific study after graduation. Emmy raises an eyebrow. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm thinking I might actually just do just that. Really, the more I consider the idea, the more it appeals to me. I make a mental note to look into it a little bit more closely. So what are you thinking of doing after graduation? Still planning on running? Emmy shrugs, seeming almost a bit hesitant. I don't know. If I'm good enough and I can find a team, I guess. You mean you aren't sure? I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. Really? You probably should, you know. Graduation isn't that far off. Emmy fidgets a little nervously. Yeah, well, it's far enough, right? Besides, I got other things to think about. There's a mischievous flash before Emmy's eyes, and I suddenly find myself gloriously pinned against the tree. I like making sure this is a real date, right? I mean, if we don't kiss, then it's not a date after all, right? I suppose strawberries and curries. Strawberries and curry. Not the best combination, but I don't think I mind. Emmy sits back on my legs and grins again. There. Science would approve, right? I have the oddest mental image of Muto nodding seriously and making a note on some checklist. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. I can't help laughing at the idea. Well, I admit, this is the first time I ever witnessed a kiss being met with laughter. Should I feel offended? No. I'm sure science approves. Emmy beams at me, and I find it increasingly difficult to keep my brain functioning properly. Oh, good. It is at this point I notice that Emmy has stole the remainder of my curry bread, while I was otherwise occupied with images of teachers wheeling clipboards. Hey! Emmy tries to look innocent, but considering she just crammed the last bit of my bread into her mouth, it does not appear to be working. Huh? Can't help myself. Sorry, can't help myself. Thief. A shrug from my companion is all I get in response. You used your feminine wiles on me. I wasn't that hungry anyway, but I still feel the point needs to be made. Emmy seems confused by the phrase feminine wilds, but the understanding draws on her features after moments of thought. Wasn't anything of the sort. You were laughing. Feminine wiles don't involve laughing. I guess I can't argue with this. That doesn't change your thievery. Emmy laughs at my injured tone and gives me a playful shove. Fine, you can have the instant noodles. Are you kidding? That stuff's terrible. If anything, you should definitely eat it as a punishment. Another laugh from the girl sitting on my legs, both of which have fallen asleep by now. Did she just fell? I twitch one leg. I try waking up, which has unintentional effect of unbalancing Emmy, who falls to the side with a startled eep. Whoops, sorry about that. Legs fall asleep on me. Emmy remains on the ground giggling. I stand up a little shakily, feeling the nerves at my leg return to normal. My eyes wander over to the scenery before fixing on the figure of Emmy, who has yet to get up. Adorable. Her hair is spread out around her head, her arms are spread, and laughter is bubbling up through her mouth. Everything about Emmy seems consistent into this one image. Her energy, her spirit, her childish giggling. The urge to lay down on the grass with her rises swiftly from the back of my mind to the forefront of my thoughts, and indeed I am convinced that I will love nothing more than just to do that. Unfortunately, the sun has set and it's probably time for us to get back to the dorms. While Emmy may be happy to stay out here all night, I don't think I have that ability. Besides, homework soon beckons. It wouldn't make sense to start thinking about things like university and then slack off, would it? I extend a hand to Emmy to help her out. We should probably get going. Emmy makes a sour face. That's definitely a sour face. You're right. She grasps my pro-offered hand and I pull her up to her feet and into a hug. This time I'm the one who kisses her, unable to resist having Emmy against me. Seems a shame to leave, you know. Yeah, it does. But if we don't get back to school soon, we'll probably get into trouble. Emmy pokes me in the ribs playfully. And you need to do your homework, I'm sure. Sadly, you're absolutely right. I throw my arm around her shoulders and we make the trek back to the school, accompanied by occasional bouts of laughter as our conversation jumps from subject to subject. Everything from running to school to the particular way that one of the cafeteria workers smells. And too soon we find ourselves outside of the girls' dormitory building. Well, I guess I'd be going then. I guess so, huh? Emmy grins at me again with the mischievous look. Are you gonna be able to survive without me? Oops, sorry. I laugh. I'm sure I'll manage. How terrible. Aren't you supposed to say something like, I'll be counting the seconds you are away? Nah, I don't think so. Emmy pulls me down into a quick goodbye kiss and slips back, looking unexpectedly shy. Thanks for dinner. I really had fun. Honestly, I did. So did I. I think we should have to do it again sometime. Emmy laughs at my deadpan delivery and nods. See you bright and early tomorrow morning, right? You gotta run off that bread after all. Of course, despite the fact that you ate most of it. Yes, despite that. See you later, yourself. As Emmy turns to head inside, I notice something weird. Something so weird that I'm surprised I didn't notice it earlier. She's limping, slightly favoring the left leg. Hey, Emmy. Is your leg okay? Emmy looks confused, or at least fakes confusion. What are you talking about? Your right leg. You're limping. There's the briefest flash of concern on Emmy's face. I saw it. Either she didn't want me to know, or she didn't think I'll notice. Or I prefer to think she just didn't realize it. Oh, that. She shrugs casually. Must have gotten knocked a little out of alignment during the picnic. No idea what would have caused that, of course. I think back to being pinned under the tree. Ah. You should have told me. We could have stopped and fixed it, you know. Emmy waves a hand airily. Nah, it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it, okay, Hisao? It's fine. Why do I get the feeling that she's convincing herself as well as me? Alright, I'm saving here. Let it rest, press it. I think press would be the better thing, because she was limping at the end of the track meet too. So I think we have to press it, since we heard what the nurse said too, that she has to take it more easy too. So I'm gonna press it. Are you absolutely sure? You don't want to go ahead and adjust it before heading up the stairs? You could get hurt if you don't, right? I said it was fine, Hisao. Seriously, don't worry about it. I got some experience in these matters after all. Yeah, I suppose so. Emmy grins reassuringly. Honestly, Hisao, I appreciate the concern, but I really am okay. No, really, I need to get going. Your attempts to keep me around are doomed to fail. Heh, of course. Just prolonging the goodbye, I suppose. Another grin lights up Emmy's face. Good night, Hisao. Good night. As she limps inside, I find myself hoping she's okay. Despite her assurances that she seems fine, I think I could call this a successful first date. Hell, any day that ends with Emmy pinning me under a tree to kiss me can't be bad, can it? I head back to my room, mentally thank the gods that Kenji doesn't ambush me in the hallway and get started on my homework. I thank the gods too. Kenji is kind of annoying. And he has a lot of lines usually. The morning is far too early for my taste. It doesn't help that I had trouble sleeping last night. There were simply too many things on my mind. Think about, my mind refuses to slow down. Instead, I replay the rooftop, the park, and everything else over and over in my head. There's a small part of my mind that is still paranoid that this has all been some kind of joke. That I'll meet up with Emmy at the track and she'll act like nothing happened yesterday. Pushing these thoughts to the back of my mind, I threw on my running clothes and opened the door. Emmy's waiting for me with her usual smile. You're late. Or at least you're not early today. Are you tired or something? I found myself rubbing the back of my head. Something like that, yeah. Lots to think about and all that. Emmy giggles at my mild understatement. Yeah, I didn't sleep that well either. I was actually glad you weren't early, because I wasn't early either. I wonder if the same thing kept us awake. The image of her weeping face passes through my mind. What kept you up? Emmy's expression falters, but she quickly noticed my curiosity and forced a smile. Nothing important. She's obviously not telling me something. The question is, should I press the issue? Something's clearly been bothering her for a while. I want to help her, but would it just come off as me being nosy? She's got to know I care about her, though. Are you sure? If something's bothering you, I'm here to help you sort it out. Emmy laughs, then, but it's not her usual laugh. There's an edge to it that seems almost bitter. Sort it out? I'm not sure it can be sorted out, Hisao. An almost grin slips across her lips. It's like a smile of resigned. I don't think you could help me anyway. That hurts. I don't want to say that it hurts to her, but it does. Doesn't she realize I want to be there for her when things go wrong? Well, I won't push you on that matter. But I'm here if you decide later that you'd like to talk about it. It might help. I can see the debate raging behind Emmy's eyes. It seems like she wants to tell me, but she's not sure whether or not she can. Hey, forget about it for now, okay? We got running to do. mentioning of running, somehow that can handle. The mentioning of running, something that she can handle, brings Emmy back to her usual self. Right. Hurry up and stretch out, Hisao. We gotta get moving. She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. So, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. It gives me a feeling of freedom, like my heart is no longer important. I find myself wanting to laugh filled with the feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. The nurse warning to not overdo things echoed in my head, and I disregard them. This feeling I have, this willingness to risk a heart attack for something so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me. But is it? Or rather, should it be? I got a weak heart, sure. It'll never be capable of the kind of speed and endurance Emmy's capable of. Though I probably wouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend, I feel my legs screaming in protest, but for the first time, I ignore them. I accelerated to finish at a sprint, nearly catching up to Emmy. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I feel surprisingly good. Oh sure, my legs feel like they're about to catch on fire, and I'm having trouble staying upright. But there's been a shift of some sort today. And it's all thanks to the girl grinning at the finish line waiting for me. That felt a little faster than usual. My comment is met with a grin and a shrug. Can't have you think I was going to go soft on you now, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Still feeling the high from the run, and moved by a surge of gratitude, I seize Emmy in a hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I'm in your debt. Emmy seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably. Don't be silly, Hisao. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? And it's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I needed a running partner, remember? I shake my head, still probably not letting go of Emmy, who stops squirming and merely looks up at me, with a quickly deepening blush that almost seems out of character. No, that's not true. You wanted a running partner, but you didn't need one. If I hadn't showed up the day after the festival, you would still run, right? But it doesn't work the other way around. I only managed to make it out a few times before the festival, and without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out at all after that. Emmy smiles at me and probes at my chest with one finger. You are pretty lazy, Hisao. Hey, I was giving you a compliment. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I'll pay you back somehow. Oh, well, that's not necessary, you know. I mean, I kinda like it, Hisao. And being able to run with you in the mornings isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so... For some reason, for someone who gets so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. I can't think of anything else to say, so we fell silent. I become aware of Emmy's breathing, of the dampness of her clothes, and of the scent of her. Coming off anyone else, it would stink. Coming off Emmy, it feels her. It fits her in a way nothing else could. Her skin is cool, soaked with sweat, and a breeze caused goosebumps to her eyes. Almost while thinking about it, I leaned down to meet Emmy's mouth, which had already moved to meet mine. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a startling righteousness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. The kiss ends, and I finally let my arms back down on my sides. Emmy is smiling warmly at me and giggles again. Come on, Hisao, we better go see the nurse. Then it happens. As she turns to begin walking, she gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Emmy! I leap to steady her and notice with some concern that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg. Emmy seems panicked and pushes away from me. It's fine. My expression must seem hurt because she hastens to apologize. Sorry. Didn't mean to push you like that. I was just... She stumbles for something to say. It's nothing, really. Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered, I decided to shrug off the whole thing. But there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach now that won't go away. I try to step in and help her, and she pushed me away. Smiling, I shove those thoughts to the back of my mind and concentrate on Emmy. Emmy's the type of girl that won't want anyone to worry about her legs at all. She wants no one to help her. She wants to do everything herself. I just don't want you getting hurt, that's all. You don't have to worry about me. Honest. I'm fine. Yes, you say that, but I don't believe you. Why won't you tell me what's wrong? It's like she gets offended by me trying to help. What am I supposed to make of that? I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the track as we arrive in front of the nurse's office. Emmy raises her hand to knock, hesitant, and turns to me smiling guiltily. Hey, can you do me a favor? Of course. Can you tell the nurse I'll see him later? No. You gotta go see the nurse, Emmy. Nope. I just remember that I got some stuff to take care of before class. So I really need to get moving. I peer at her curiously, and she fidgets under my stare. Yeah, she's clearly just avoiding the nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever. I said I'll help, and so I will. But I'll make damn sure she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay, I'll let him know. Emmy looks like I just give her a pony on Christmas. Thank you so much. You're the best, Hisao. I am rewarded for my compliments in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it. Or so I tell myself. As Emmy heads out of the building, trying hard not to let her limbs show, I knock on the door of the office. Ah, Hisao, come on in. I don't see Emmy with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the ex-nurse is expecting me to say yes, she's ill. She said that she's forgotten to do something, and so she had to skip out, but she'll see you later today. The nurse heaves an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl... She's been avoiding me. Yesterday she was in and out of here without even taking off her prosthetics, and now this? Well, at least it's not just me Emmy doesn't want worrying. That's a comfort, I guess. Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I said I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty bad today. And last night as well. The nurse's eyes narrow at the words last night. And what exactly were you two doing last night? We were, on a date. The nurse raises his eyebrows as if surprised. Really? Interesting. Huh? Oh, nothing. His gaze turns thoughtful, and then he grins at me. You don't think you could use some of that boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you? Of course. I was planning on doing that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yes, she does that. Afraid I'll make her stop running. Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping, well, I guess I have to see what's wrong for myself before I make that call. I see. Emmy, not allowed to run? Perish the thought. I don't know if she'll be able to function without running. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good. Oh, and before I forget, he grins at me again in what feels like a Virgo tempting, threatening manner. Don't forget that I know what medications you're on. You be careful around Emmy, got it? Wow, he looks serious too. Got it. Don't hurt Emmy. Wouldn't dream of it. Gran. I hate for you to be late. Huh? Late, as in late, Hisao Nakai. He frowns, briefly dissatisfied. Sounded better in my head. Well, anyway, get out of here before you miss your first class. You got things to do, I'm sure. Shoot. As I leave, I notice a nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Miko, your daughter's being a pain in the ass again. I better head back to my room, or I really will be late. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check my heart rate? He didn't even do his job, he just talked. The lunch bell sounds and I bring myself out of the slumber I slipped into during the morning classes. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of this morning's run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping steps up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emmy and Ren are still my friends, but Emmy has become more than that now. Ren is back in her usual spot on the roof, almost as if she'd never been absent. Feeling better, I take it? A raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Better than you felt yesterday. Ren gives my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for some of yesterday, but it's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine? Well, I was asleep, and that usually is pretty good. But I can't remember what it feels like to be asleep because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Then again, if I knew how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way, I would keep trying, so I guess that's how I could keep from being overtired. An internal mystery to keep you sleeping at night. Maybe mystery's the wrong word. Intangible might be the proper way to describe it. I see. No, I don't see it at all. I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's okay, since I really do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Like yesterday, do you remember what you felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember some conscious sleep. Actually, I think I was worrying about Emmy. Doesn't Emmy worry enough about herself? I haven't considered that, but it gives me pause. True, but she asked for help if she needed it. But would she ask for help if she needed it? Ren frowns, and I raise an eyebrow. Will I get a proper answer? Probably not. Is there something she should be asking for help with? Her leg, for starters. This seems to catch Ren's interest. Leg? It hurts, but she won't see the nurse about it. Ren shakes her head in disapproval. You have to make her. Like she makes me go to class for my own good. Otherwise, she could lose her legs again, and that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Unless prosthetics are the same as finding something. But that's a different kind of loss, isn't it? I think so. I wonder. Wonder what? I like how you see the pigtails in the hair. Emmy seems so snuck up on me and Ren and me, though Ren doesn't seem especially surprised. Which is itself unsurprisingly, I suppose. Ren managed to sit herself upright, quite extraordinary, throwing her upper body forward and using her momentum to right herself. Your leg, how's it feel? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare. It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about. Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. Emmy pounced like I just told her she's been grounded. He worries too much. It's not that big of a deal, just a little soreness. I try to resist rolling my eyes in aspiration. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emmy narrows her eyes suspiciously. Did he put you up to this? Well, maybe a little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you really hurt and not doing anything about it. That would make it worse, and I don't really want to see you hurt, you know. Call me crazy, but I kind of would prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each statement, Emmy frown fades a little more, until eventually she's grinning I bid, a little shyly. Well, if you're gonna put it that way, then I guess I have to see him. Otherwise you keep worrying it, then I'll never hear the end of it, right? That's right, I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the food, Hassel? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. How was your day, Hassel? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. Hassel, I think I'm ready to go all the way. Talk to the nurse, Emmy. See, it doesn't work that well. Emmy giggles at my high-pitched... He mimicked her voice, I'm sorry. Emmy giggles at my high-pitched rendering of her voice and gives me an affectionate shove. My voice isn't that high, jerk. I thought it was pretty accurate. What's that face? I thought it was pretty accurate. Emmy and I stare at Ren for a while before I burst into laughter. Emmy crosses her arms and huffs, mock offended. You're both jerks. Such vile clemencies from you, young woman. I'm stunned that you would call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Emmy sticks out her tongue at me. You ass. So Ren, how's the art club these days? Ren, seemingly as surprised by this sudden change of talk as I am, takes a minute to think before answering. I believe it is okay. Although, Noria keeps telling me to work harder, but I don't think he understands my methods. He always strikes me as slightly creepy. Ren ponders this statement for a while. I never really notice, but I don't pay much attention to him these days, most days. So maybe that's why. How often do you meet? Thinking of joining his cell? What? Nah, I already decided to join a club. Really? Which one? Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest. Oh, you joined the tea... Oh, he joined the tea club? No, I, joined the science club, I think. Emmy looks highly confused. We have a science club? Not really. It's just me. Hey Sal, that's not a club. That's sitting in your room reading books. No, I mean it's just me and Muto. I'm just the only student so far. Muto? Really? A thought strikes her. Oh, is that what you were talking about yesterday? Your meeting with Muto? Yeah, that was our first meeting, I guess. Emmy giggles. Nerd. Hey, I can't help being clever. You know, I could have used your help years ago. You should have had your heart attack earlier in life, Hassel. I laugh and then realize this is probably one of the very rare times I laugh about my heart attack. Hindsight. Yeah. The ringing of the bell ends our conversation. Guess we better go. Yeah, I guess so. Come on, Ren. You too. Ren has apparently begun to doze off, so Emmy gives her a sharp bump. I almost had it. Sorry, but you need to go to class. I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class I'll get it this time. Changing locations is sometimes helpful for that kind of thing. Either Emmy and I, or I, bother asking what it is. As we arrive at my class, Emmy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway, Ren in tow. I turn to enter the class to be met by the duo of Sashune and Miso. ... Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle to keep from breaking into a fit of giggles while she translates Sashune's latest rant. Well, we are pleased and thrilled to see how well you managed to make new friends and forge relationships. And with such a cutie too, Hichan. I think that last part was probably Misha. ... We needlessly feel compelled to politely remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Really? That's disappointing, Shishune. But Section 8 of the Code of Conduct laid out in the student handbook. ... In this case, however, ignorance of the law may be excuse, as we are feeling lenient. ... And the paperwork required to punish the both of you would only add to the already monstrous volume of work, which confronts us with the slow members of the Student Council Club, and besides, you two are adorable together. ... Therefore, consider this a formal warning. Please refrain from such displays in the future. At least when Shishune could see you, Hichan. This whole spiel is so patently ridiculous that I can't help but provide in the same pompous manner. Well, I, for one, feel enlightened. I apologize profoundly for my rash actions and will strive to conduct myself. Sorry, give me 1 second. I will strive to conduct my baser improvs, which I fear impelled me toward such inappropriate displays of public affection. It is hardly my wish to burden an already overworked student council with such petty manners, and will do my best to make sure your lives easier in this matter in the future. At least when Susune's watching. This last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. Wahahaha! Well said, Hichan. Chuckling a little myself, we entered the classroom. I wouldn't mind doing their route next. Shifune's route next. I hope Misha has a route too. Class was uneventful, and after the final bell rings, I found myself alone with Muto again. So it looks like we all assembled for the second meeting of the science club. Or is this the first? What do you think? Should we count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like club business, so we can safely call yesterday a meeting. Muto smiles in his usual slightly silted and awkward way. I wonder if the muscles in his face are just not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. You really do have a knack for this, I think. Logical thought process, that is. I guess so. A scientist speaks with authority, Hassel. The answer here is yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it, even if all we got is a decent hypothesis. But we must sound certain. Anyway, because we're the authorities on the subject, right? He chuckles to go along with his awkward smile at his awkward joke. I'm doing my best not to grimace, but I don't think I'm being too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure, but nobody's an expert on how the world works. If only because nobody can be sure with no certainty. There are no experts. But we like to pretend sometimes. Some things we can't be certain of, right? Yes, but no. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Muto picks up a pen. Sorry if you heard a loud bang. To illustrate, Muto picks up a pencil and drops it. See? Still there. But it's good to check every once in a while. That's why you see some researchers mocking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. So you check and check and check. That's science in a nutshell, so. The whole time I'm listening, feeling rather spellbound. Muto seems to really be passionate about this stuff. I think it's hard to tell sometimes how the world works, how humans works, how the universe works. All these questions to be answered. And depending on what I go into, maybe I can even figure out a way to fix my heart. That said, I don't think that's a real priority for me. Besides, as we start discussing the book he gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than my heart condition. Before we even realize it, an hour's gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for today now, okay? We'll have another meeting tomorrow, or, the day after. He considers this for a moment. Call it the day after. I got a lot of greeting to do. Okay, see you then. As I exit the classroom, I realize that I don't really have anything to do tonight. Emmy and I didn't make plans, so I guess I'll go to the library. It beats doing homework in my room anyway. The library always seems cooler than the rest of the building, probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. Books are sturdy objects, but if you want to keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I got several books that are so well worn, the pages are barely clinging to the spine. It seems impossible for them to still be useful, but if you handle them with care. I make my way to the main desk where I spot Yuko busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter and waves. Hello, Isao. Good to see you again. What are you looking for this time? Nothing in particular, I guess. I just don't really feel like going back to my room is all. Yuko nods. Well, if you're unoccupied, maybe you could help me look for something. Sure, what do you need? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around fugitely. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers. Come closer. I take a hesitant step forward about feeling distinctly unnerved. Yuko lowers her voice to a confined whisper. I'm on the trail of the Yamaku cat burglar. The what? Shh! The walls have ears, Isao. Or they might. But listen, these missing books, remember them? Yeah. Well, they weren't missing. They were stolen. I'm convinced of it. I remember you saying something of the sort earlier. But how do you know? Kenji has them. Yuko leans in closer, and if possible whispers even lower. Because I found one of his hiding places. You did what? Yuko looks triumphantly. Found one of his stashes. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books. I've been looking for all there. I suspect a thief before, but this proves it. So did he take the books back? Yuko looks as if I just suggested she walked around naked. Are you nuts? He can't know I'm onto him. He might have go to the ground and evade capture. So what do you need my help with then? Yuko casts another glance around the library and leans in closer. You gotta spy for me. Spy? Yeah, like when you're in the dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity. What constitutes suspicious anyway? I mean, Kenji's a pretty suspicious dude, but I wager he barely goes to class, much less sneaks into the library to profound books. So what's the harm in saying yes? At least it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that. No problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly. Great! Now hurry up and talk about something else in case someone comes in. How's the school treating you? Pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with Emi Izabaki, right? Yeah. How do you know? I served you two in the tea house, remember? I deducted that if you were going to run with anyone, it would probably be her. She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes, we've been running in the mornings, and we kind of started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly. Really? That's great. I bet you two are great together. I love seeing people find another like that, you know. I even thought of myself when you walked into the Shanghai that one time. I wonder if that kid would wind up with one of those girls. Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice me, somewhat weird out tone, and nods affirmatively. Yep, I could tell that you'll wind up with one of them, you know. I got an eye for that sort of thing. Of course, her expression drooped slightly. I'm not so good at it myself. Oh, I'm sure that's not true. Oh, it's true. I met this guy once. We got along really great, but it turned out he was younger than me. And that was kind of weird, but not terribly so. What was weird was that he disappeared one day, and I've not seen him since then. Huh, that does seem kind of odd. Doesn't it? I hope it wasn't something I did. I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I intended to try and calm her down further, but both of us jump in surprise at the ringing suddenly coming from my pocket. Yuko sighs to steady herself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Oh look, I didn't know they do the phone like that. Emmy, what's up? Oh, thank God. I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know if this number would work or whether you would pick up, and I can't. Whoa there, Emmy, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of the line. during which I could hear Emmy trying to control her breathing in order to calm down. Something's got her terribly agitated, and it's starting to agitate me. Can you just stop by? Like now, or shortly after now? I really need to talk to you. There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I don't think I ever heard from her. Of course, I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasingly agile state, I'm apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense. Okay, I'll be okay. See you soon. I pressed the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket. Apologizing to Yuko for running off and ran off. Perhaps at some point I would have stopped to think about the time or how suspicious it looks for a guy to enter the girls' dorm at this hour. Except right now, I'm just concerned with getting to Emmy and figuring out what's wrong and how I can help her. I knock on the door and greet her with a subdued, "Come in." Something is wrong as I stared at the scene before me. Emmy's there, yes. She's in a wheelchair. Oh, her leg must have been really infected then, if he had to put her in a wheelchair. And her legs are missing. I glance around the room and see them sitting in a corner. Look like they've been thrown there. Emmy responds to my entry with a lopsided grin that is both pleased to see me and completely, utterly heartbroken. Hi, Sal. Looks like she's been crying, but if she was, she stopped now. I noticed I'm a little out of breath, having taken the stairs 2 at a time in order to get here. My heart doesn't seem to mind the strain though. I'll follow this happy fact away for later consultation. Like when I'm not staring, somewhat dumbstruck at my girlfriend in a wheelchair. Realizing I still not respond to her greeting, my brain lurks into gear. Emmy, what happened? Guess I should have listened to you, Hisao. My leg's got a nasty infection. I'm not allowed to run on it for at least a couple of weeks. She gives a bitter laugh that shouldn't be coming from her. I can't even walk on it. I could have used a crutch and keep one of my legs, but I don't see the point. Why hop? You can't run on one leg. At least this way I can still, I don't know, roll fast or something. Yeah, that's good, right? My awkward attempt to look on the bright side seems appreciative, but not really effective. Emmy shrugs again. It's just kind of a nuisance. I mean, we can't eat up on the roof now. No wheelchair access. Yeah, but that's no big deal, right? I mean, we can still eat together, and that's the important thing. The lopsided grin again. It hurts to look at. I suppose so, yeah. But like I said, it's a nuisance. I mean, I haven't really used a wheelchair in, she thinks for a moment, maybe 7 years? Something like that anyway. A long time. I'm afraid I'm a bit out of practice. Well, fortunately, it's only temporary, right? Maybe not. Oh yeah, of course. It's not like I lost them permanently. But it's a pain in the ass all the same. I nod sympathetically. There's not much else I could do after all. What am I gonna do? Say, I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at. But by the time I noticed, it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything? That is, can I help with anything? Amy shakes her head and there's a bit of her usual grin back. Nah, I get managed by myself. Although if you want to help me over to my bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there myself. I blush in spite of myself. Amy giggles. You're such a prune, Hisao. I'm not a prune, I just wouldn't want to take advantage of a young girl such as yourself. It's ungentlemanly. I wheel Emmy close chair to her bed and easily scoop her up and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It would be rude of me to obviously this aloud, of course. Man, you're kinda heavy. He does it anyway. My man, Hisao. Smack. Emmy hits me with a pillow. As. Just saying is all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emmy's grins falters slightly. Huh. Well, I guess I won't be worrying about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight. That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity. I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend. Speaking of which, are you going to still show up in the mornings? I hate to run alone. Oh shit. Emmy Center interjects more disgruntled mumble than anything too profound. It caused me to look over in shock. She's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact she's crying by covering her eyes with a hand. Of course, the sudden sobbing makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. I can think of nothing else to say or do. How do you comfort someone who just lost their legs again? Emmy wraps me in a hug and stays that way for a while. Sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess. Don't say that. I'm fine, really. Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest. I pat her head reassuringly. That's the spirit, right? You get through this fine, I know. Besides, I'm here to help you, remember? Emmy lifts her head and stares at me with tear-stained eyes. Can you really? She's grinning lopsidedly, and something sparkles in her gaze. I can't tell if I'm being mocked or not. Of course. I mean, sure, you're a bit heavy, but my witty comment is cut off by a sudden press of Emmy's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard and rewarded by hitting my head on the wall behind her bed. Ow. Emmy pulls back, trying to look concerned rather than like she's about to laugh. Are you okay? Sorry. I rub my head ruefully and grin back at her. Caught me off guard there. Is that going to be a habit? Am I going to be lectured by Shizune and Misha more? At the mention of the duo, Emmy giggles. Honestly, those two. If I didn't know why, I'll be utterly confused as to why she hangs out around with someone so bossy. Which one are we talking about? You know exactly which one is now. Misha's hardly bossy. So what's the reason then? Huh? The reason why Misha hangs around Sasune? Emmy waves at my question off with a smile. No idea. I feel like I'll find out once I do one Sasune's route. Anyway, you seem to be forgetting the original question, don't you? Oh yeah, I guess I am. You wouldn't mind giving a guy a little warning, would you? Otherwise, I'm liable to wind up with a concussion. I emphasize the point by rubbing at the back of my head. Emmy giggles madly. You could wear a helmet. Some kids here do that, you know. Or I could just take revenge. I grab a pillow from beside me and whack Emmy over the head. It's that face again. Emmy topples off the bed and lands on the floor with a thump. Thud. Her arms promptly reappear on the bed, and she manages to pose herself back up. She really has a surprising amount of strength in that little body. Her face is turned downwards and away from mine, making me think I might have accidentally hurt her. Emmy, you okay? You didn't hit your... A hand shots up and grabs me at the collar. She pulls me in with a sharp tug, her head barely an inch away from mine, as she grins cheekily. Emmy? Did she just headbutt me? She did. She gives me a sharp headbutt, our foreheads making quite a loud thud. I sit back and rub now my sore head as Emmy smirks victoriously. How's that for revenge? No fair. You can't take revenge for revenge. For someone missing most of her legs, Emmy's surprisingly agile. I swipe at her, but she definitely rolls out of the way and lands and hits with her pillow. Of course, the odds are against her. I can stand up for starters. Oof. Guess I can't, after all. Emmy seems to have effortlessly tripped me up and is now promptly sitting astride me as I lay on my back. I'm not even sure how she managed it. I win. Her eyes twinkle mischievously. I've been thoroughly defeated by a girl that's a fraction of my size at that. Then again, being defeated doesn't seem quite so bad. Emmy being positioned over my waist isn't something that I or my body can easily ignore. I open my lips to speak, but Emmy's head darts downward before I can get so much as a word out. I give no resistance as she presses her mouth to mine. Not that I want to. This is different somehow. She pulls back, nibbles at my lower lip, and reinitiates the embrace. Her tongue darts inside my mouth, exploring. I can feel warmth spreading through my body as my heart begins to beat faster. My mind starts to go foggy, and I become vaguely aware of my hand traveling up Emmy's blouse. Emmy grabs as I reach her breast, then there's a giggle, and then I'm gonna end it here, because it seems like the perfect place to end it. And the next time you'll see this is going to be after we all know what's coming, the Googlies. So yeah, I'm going to end it right here. This has been a Visual Novel Gamer. I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.